Not saying what it is, but it takes 25 hours to print this half. Welcome to ARW. I'm Harold, and today's exercise is going to be some hole drilling, linear and angle, and we'll see how that works. We're going to learn all about the DRO if it kills all of us. Okay? I'm sure it won't. It's reasonably painless, or has been so far. Now, some people use a particular trick to keep from having to find X0 and Y0 over and over again. They will make this end of the vice jaw X0 and this front face of the back vice jaw Y0, because that jaw is not going to move like the front jaw is. So every time they put something in here, all they got to do is square it up with there. They know the corner of it is at X0, Y0. And that makes it simpler and easier. You don't have to find those spots over again. Alright? But if you need something else, another zero somewhere else, you can switch to incremental mode and have another X0 and Y0 someplace else. Now, I'm going to put this guy in there and just sort of square him up with my finger, which means he'll probably be a few thousandths off, you know, but that'll be okay. Alright? Now switch to incremental mode so that we can preserve our absolute X and Y zeros. Alright? Hit the line symbol, and it's going to be an XY line, and the length of that's going to be 3 inches, and then we've got to go to the step. Alright? And the step is going to be 0.75 inches, okay, and then gotta move on from there. The angle is going to be 180 to make it parallel with the vice jaws, okay. And then we want how many holes? I put in 5 holes because that's about what it's going to take to make the thing work. That's then we'll move on and move the table where we need it. The first hole, of course, is right where we're at. Around there where we can see hole number 1. We'll drill the little booger. And I've got a pencil mark around it. Now then, we want hole number 2. So let's come around here to the DRO. And we want hole number 2. Hit that. Hole number 2 says I've got to move over 3/4 of an inch. Now, the table's not locked down, so there may be a little unwanted movement, which will give us some numbers that are not dead on, but we're going to be within a thousandth or so anyway. Alright. Alright. This is basically 0, 0 here for hole number 2. So let's move over here and take a look at what we've got here. Now you can see hole number 1 there to the left of the drill, and we're going to put another hole in. Now we've got 2 holes. Alright, now we go back to the DRO, which is somewhere in here. We'll back up a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Alright, we want hole number 3. We're going to have to move again, another 3/4 of an inch. Going the wrong direction. And what we're doing is we're going to 0. It tells you how far over the hole is going to be, but you have to go to 0 every time. Now that little fella's got to 0.4. Alright, I'm going to lock the Y direction for now because we're not using it. We're going to drill hole number 3 right here. If you'll look, you can see hole number 3 is going to be moved over from where hole number 2 was. Sorry about that, I hit the camera with my hand. I'm hopelessly clumsy. Alright, you can see now we've got 3 holes, all of them 3/4 of an inch apart. Go back to the DRO. Alright, hole number 4. As usual, we've got to turn this thing down to 0. Now that's pretty much 0. And we'll do, of course, I'm not going to turn around and see hole number 4. You know what it's going to look like. Alright, so hole number 5. I think I told you I wanted 5 holes. And we will head for 0 here. That's pretty close to 0. We'll drill hole number 5, and again, I'm not going to show you hole number 5. We're just going to drill it. Alright, let's see if there's any more holes. It's over. That's it. That's all the holes. Alright, let's take a look at what we've done. We have drilled 5 holes. They're all evenly spaced. They're 3/4 of an inch, and it's over a 3-inch distance. All right, so that's how you accurately lay out a linear series of holes. Aren't they nice? Now, of course, you could have done the same thing by running your DRO over 3/4 of an inch and drill a hole and then add 0.75 to it and move it over and drill another hole and add 0.75 to that. This is simpler, I think. Okay, so this time we're going to drill a line on an angle. Okay, we're still going to have the same 5 steps and the 3/4 inch between them. We go over here and hit the line function. It's the length of the step. So we're going to have let me enter it. We're going to have 0.75. That's our length of the step. In other words, we're going to have 3/4 inch between holes. All right, we're going to go on to the length of this thing. That's going to be 3 inches. Okay, and we'll go on to we're going to 3 inches. We're going to go to the angle. It's going to be 225 degrees. That should make us have a 45-degree angle away from where we were. All right. Go on. The number of holes is 5. Like last time, let's do hole number 1, which is on the corner. We've already done that one, but we'll prove to ourselves that it's really where we thought it was. We'll just sort of drop down into that hole. You can see that hole was the same one that we had the last time. Alright, so let's move on to hole number 2. Now the numbers may look kind of confusing this time. So we started on hole number 1. We'll go to hole number 2. Now these numbers look a little bit different. We said we wanted a 3/4 inch step, but we're not showing 3/4 of an inch. Well, let's just see what happens if we take this guy down to 0. I think I went past the 0. And take the Y, take him to 0. Alright, now then, let's look at our holes. We'll zoom in on that real close. And you can see we're at an angle now from number 1. So let's drill a hole. Alright, we've got a hole drilled there. We wanted 3/4 of an inch step, but you saw we moved 0.5 something. Let's see what we've got. I've got these Metatoyo calipers set on 3/4 of an inch. We're going to lay them out here, even with the center of these 2 holes. If I can get it there. Well, anyway, it shows we're 3/4 of an inch. Alright, we're going to go to hole number 3, which is another 0.5307. Oops, going the wrong way again. I guess I could have flown across the Atlantic to Paris. It could have been wrong way waters instead of wrong way Harrigan. Alright. Take this guy to 0. And I'm not going to show drilling the holes. I'm just going to drill them, and you can trust me that I have moved there, because you saw the DRO say I did. Alright. Now we're going to do hole 4. Got to move that same distance all over again. Alright, they got that one down. Getting better at going to the 0 quickly. Alright, we're going to go ahead and drill him. Alright, we're ready for hole number 5, our last hole. They burn it. You keep jumping both sides. Anyway, that's 0.010 of an inch. So I'm not going to let it bother me a lot. Sorry about kicking your viewpoint. Oops, went past. Alright, that's close enough. Now, we'll take a look at the holes while we drill them. Alright, turn it just a little bit. Now, we've got everything on screen. Got it. So we've drilled a perfect angle, exactly right, 5 holes. So that's the straight line function in going at different degrees. All right. Okay, so we saw that we selected our function, and then with each measurement that we're going to do, like it was an XY, we pushed enter, and went on down to the step. It's going to have a length of step. We push the numbers in for the length of step, and then we press enter, and then we run on to the next thing, to how long is the thing going to be, and we press enter after we put that in, and then it wants to know what's the angle. Now here is the point that when you want to drill parallel to your vise, it may vary with your DRO or it may not, but with mine I put it on a 180-degree angle and it was drilling parallel with the vise. Now I wanted to drill at a 45-degree angle to the vise, so I added 45 to that, and we got 225, and we drilled a 45-degree angle, okay? And then you want to know how many holes. You put in the number of holes and you press enter. Between each one of these data entry steps, you got to push enter. And after that, it's just when you go to each step, you crank it down to 0 on the X and the Y axis, drill your hole, go to the next step, crank it down to 0 on the X and Y axis. And there you go. Of course, if you're doing a line parallel to your vise jaws, you don't have to move the Y axis at all. But if you're doing any other angle away from that, you will. So let's go and see what Bubba's up to, or Boudreaux, or Ole. We haven't visited Ole in a long time. Let's see if he's doing anything. Maybe. One thing I forgot to mention is when you're setting this up and doing it, do a dry run, you know, an idiot test. Don't have to drill any holes, just move it to those spots and see if it really moves where you want it to. Then, when you got it right, start all over and actually drill the holes. That's the best thing to do. That way you don't mess up your metal.
Bubba spent all his life living out in the woods, you know, and so he was ready to tickled to death when the local sawmill advertised for a log inspector. He gets up there and applies to the job, and so the foreman and the owner decide to take him out in the woods to see just what does he know, you know. And so the foreman stops. They go running down, bounce down this little old logging road in the pickup truck, and they stop there. And the foreman gets out, points to a tree, and says, "See that big tree over there? Just what species is it, and how many board feet of lumber does it have in it?" Bubba says, "That's a Douglas fir, 383 board feet." Well, the owner's really impressed. The foreman's impressed, you know, and so they get back in their truck. They go driving on down another mile or so, you know. And foreman stops, points out a big tree, and asks him the same question. Bubba says, "That's a hemlock, 285 board feet." Well, the owner's really looking impressed now, and the foreman got to worrying there, you know, that maybe Bubba's smarter than him. He needed to do something to kind of make him look bad, you know. So they drove on down the logging road a ways. Foreman stopped, points to a big tree over there and says, "Look here, Bubba," he says, "take this piece of chalk, go over there and mark the front of that tree." Bubba says, "All right." So he goes, you know, trotting off out there. Bubba walks a circle around that tree and looks it over, puts a big old X on the tree, and come walking back. The foreman's, you know, looking at him. What he says, "Bubba, just what the heck makes you think that's the front of that tree?" Bubba says, "Well," he says, "on account of somebody took a dump around behind it."